Okay, so
do you have access to that?
Yeah, I should have.
Cool. Okay, I guess I'll quickly start again for everyone.
Yeah, would be nice.
Yeah, okay. So, right, where are we? What we're doing, we're replacing all of we're changing the way that we load vulnerabilities on the various dashboards. We have pipeline dashboard, security dashboards, pipeline security dashboard, project security dashboard, group security dashboard, and the instance level security dashboard. The pipeline security dashboard is staying exactly the same, so we don't need to worry about that one. But we are changing the underlying data for the group, project, and instance security dashboards. So they're no longer going to be based off vulnerability findings, which is what they've always been based off. We're going to base them off these new first-class vulnerabilities or standalone vulnerabilities, whatever we decide we're finally going to call them. Second to that, these dashboards are currently using REST endpoints with Vuex, and the first-class vulnerabilities, they are using GraphQL. So we need to update the components in a way so that they don't rely on the Vuex actions and things like that, and we can use the GraphQL based data. So a good way of thinking about this, now this is an oversimplification. We have entry point here, so this will be the dashboard that you get to, and then the first thing we do is we check a feature flag. If that feature flag's disabled, so if we're going down the normal route with vulnerability findings, then we go down here and we load a Vuex sort of wrapper, so that'll go out and get all of the vulnerability findings from the REST endpoints, and then pass all of that data down to the dashboard components. So like the vulnerability list, the counts, which are these things here, and they filters and so on. If the feature flag is enabled, so we need to use the first class vulnerabilities, then we load the GraphQL wrapper, and then that sends all the data down to the same components. This is the plan. The problem we have at the moment is a lot of these components are sort of very heavily tied to Vuex. They dispatch actions, they do all sorts of things. So one thing we need to do is sever them ties to Vuex and just pass things down as much as we can, and bubble up events and things so that we can just have these sort of top level components that will deal with the data and just pass it down to these components so that we can we can reuse these as much as possible. So not only is this Vuex thing used when the feature flag's turned off, it's also still used on the pipeline one, regardless of whether we have the feature flag turned on or off. So it's important that we keep this path going. I've just made a big scribbly mess here, so I'll get rid of that. So that's the sort of high level idea. I have already started down this. This is in this branch here that you can't read fully, but it's on a branch. It's not in master yet, so if you don't see it, that's why. This is the group security dashboard page. So this is the entry point for the group security dashboard, and we just say if the first class vulnerabilities feature is enabled, then we initialize the first class dashboard. Otherwise, we initialize the regular security dashboard. And then these functions are just helpers that have been put in separate files. So where are we with this now? So this is the original security dashboard. And you can see it's got all this Vuex stuff inside it. So we've got all of the computed props that we're pulling from the stores. And then when we've created the page, we're setting all the endpoints and then fetching things. And then we have all of these actions and things. So this is very, very heavily Vuex. So this is going to be the thing that passes down all the data to our different components. So you see we've got the filters and the dashboard table and things like that. Right now it doesn't quite do that, but we'll get there. And then the idea being that we load in the first class dash. Oh, no, not that. This is the wrong file. Is it project? First class project dashboard, that's what it's called. So we load in this first class project dashboard, which has all, oh, it doesn't yet actually, but this will have all of the GraphQL stuff inside, and it'll pass it down to this new first class dashboard, which just has various slots for where all the data goes. So this is more of a layout style component. So the project dashboard right now, it has this project vulnerabilities app. This one here. So this is where all the GraphQL stuff is currently, but we should probably move that up a level into this project dashboard so that all the other components can access it. But this just, you can see here's the GraphQL stuff for it. So it just pulls in all the vulnerabilities. It's got a linked vulnerabilities query that we imported down here. These are just, you know, normal GraphQL queries with some fragments in for reusability. And then we do all of the, I'm not going to go too far into how all this works, but it just basically, it pulls all of the vulnerabilities out of the GraphQL stuff and then passes them down here to a vulnerability list. So this is just a list of vulnerabilities. So that's what we have right now. The actual dashboard itself, if it started loading, I need to sign in.
This sounds like a very, like, in terms of the MR, the size will be big, I guess, right?
Yes, so this MR will be rather large right now, which is kind of why we're having this conversation, is to work out how we split this, because this will take probably months to go through. So originally, you know how you start down a line and you're like, oh yeah, this would be a quick short MR, and then you go, oh no, I need to change this as well. Oh, I need to change this.
Yeah, as usual.
So I'm at that point right now. Oh, this is the group dashboard. That's why it's not working. This should let me in. So yeah, we need to work out what lines we should split this down. Mm-hmm. It might be easier if I push up what I've got now and put it in for a work in progress MR, and then we get the diff view and we can see, all right, okay, this is a chunk that we could split out or whatever.
Yeah.
But so right now, all that it does is load the vulnerabilities into the security dashboard. There's no filters, there's no counts, there's no.
This comes from GraphQL, right?
This is all the GraphQL data, yeah.
Okay, cool.
And then clicking through to these takes you to the standalone page and everything. So it's the first class or standalone vulnerabilities that are on this list. But obviously, it looks nothing like this yet. So this is the end goal.
Yeah.
This is where we are right now.
And I also have a branch, actually, or an issue that asks me to flip the filters with the counters. and then change the style. So that would probably cause some merge conflicts.
Yeah, definitely. So this is something I was meant to bring up to Matt. There's a lot of issues that are changing things on the security dashboard, and there's also this giant issue that completely rewrites the security dashboard. So we should probably be putting the others on hold for a little bit to give us a bit of leeway to, because otherwise we're just doing everything twice.
Yeah, but there are some issues that are that needs to go out this. So when is the due date for this?
It's 12:10.
Okay, that issue as well. It needs to go out 12:10 as well. The export button, but it's under review, so it's almost merged.
But in theory, while I'm saying that, if we are making changes to the core components that Vuex and GraphQL are using, then they should go to both in theory, if that makes sense. So we won't need to. So you remember the diagram I did with the four boxes.
Yeah.
So like, anything. I'm not going to label them. You know what they were, but anything in this bit here will be absolutely fine because it'll still get used by both of them.
Yeah.
If we're changing that, but anything that's kind of in this sort of area, where it's anything that's heavily tied to this, that's kind of going to be thrown away in 12.10, provided we get this done in 12.10.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, my changes are more in the lower area, the one used by both data layers.
Cool. Well, that should be okay then. But yeah.
Okay.
So obviously that was a lot. I've still got this bloody pen on. I can't click anywhere. There we go. Yeah. From what I've just said there and what I've shown, because obviously my head's quite deep in the middle of this rabbit hole right now, can you see anything that's obvious where we could split this work out and have some slightly smaller chunks?
So the first thing that came into my mind immediately was maybe we could submit an MR which like right now it's tightly coupled, right? The Vuex with the component. So and you moved it out.
Yes. No. I did, but that was in a different MR. That's already done.
That's already done.
It's done for filters. The rest is because. Sorry, let me just. So while this list here.
Yes.
This is one of the things that we can't just reuse. We have to have written I forgot to mention that, sorry. I've written a separate vulnerabilities list for first class vulnerabilities for a couple of reasons. The columns are totally different.
Yeah.
The naming of the data is totally different, which is a little annoying, but it is what it is. So this is, I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's like it's name in one, it's title in the other. They're slightly different. And the big difference between them is when I hover over these, you get these actions.
Yeah.
And clicking on it opens a modal that has all of these different bits and pieces. The vulnerability list has none of that. It's just a link to a separate page that then has all of these things.
Yeah.
So that list itself is something that's totally different again.
Okay.
And that's already done. That's split out and merged separately. So
it's already merged.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So we can use that. Okay, we could do something like this, and one person works on Vuex, and then the other one works on GraphQL, right? As long as we have this, the bottom is, the layout is actually ready, maybe we can start working on that separately. So we won't actually have merge conflicts, maybe.
Yes. So this layout thing, is this what we were meaning?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah, so this isn't merged.
But if we can get this merged,
I can probably pull this out, yeah. Sorry, what were you saying?
I was saying if we can get this merged, then and then the Vuex part already works. That does the Vuex, okay, does the Vuex part need, okay, we need to pull it out, right? So that's what you're doing right now. But then I will need your work to be merged so that I can start working on the GraphQL. Well,
It's a bit weird, isn't it? It's very chicken and egg, this one.
yeah, exactly.
Here's a thought. So something I'm kind of, I guess I've hit a point with this where I'm struggling a little. I have this. I don't have the other one open. Can't remember what it's called. First class project, so it'd be first.
Or you could create the layout, right? Without using it. It's there. We know that it's there. You get it merged, and then one person works on moving out the Vuex part, and then the other person works on implementing the GraphQL. Does it make sense?
Yes, I suppose. I mean, I hadn't really thought so that. I hadn't thought of the Vuex side of things actually using this dashboard, but that maybe makes sense because this current dashboard.
Yeah, it needs to be first class dashboard, right?
Say again, sorry.
This one, this is the current one, right?
This is the current one, yes.
Okay, so this one, this will be the Vuex one, and it will be using the first class dashboard that you wrote on the left side, on the left tab.
Well, originally that wasn't my plan, but to be honest, that's maybe not a bad plan. I mean, I should rename this. It's not first class dashboard's a terrible name for it, but so all this is really is just the layout that's been pulled out of this. So making this use that layout component with all the slots and things is probably not a terrible idea.
Yeah. And we could split up the work like this, like one person does this part, the Vuex part, and then one goes with the GraphQL one.
So if I rename this to dashboard template or something, I'll come up with a better name for it, and then get that merged in. Just basically just that plus tests on its own.
Yeah, then we can. Yeah, it's a small MR as well, so it should be fairly fast.
It's a good idea. I like that idea. Okay. And then, so one of the things I was... Oh, no, sorry. My head's all over the place at the moment, to be honest. Should we start there?
Yeah.
And then catch up again in a couple of days or whatever, and go from there. I'll push up what I've got here as well, so that you can have a look and see if there's anything else that you think you can split. Another thing that we could split off as well. So if I just load up the let me just get there's a comment. Where is it?
Lindsay told me that there was one issue that was blocking several issues. Was it this one?
I'm trying to find it. It's annoying. They all start with security dashboard, so it's hard to find in my Yeah, this is it, right. So this is how I'd originally split up the work. Refactor the filter component to rely on props instead of actions. That's done.
Mm-hmm.
Create a separate GraphQL-based dashboard that pulls in the vulnerability list, toggle this based on the feature flag. That's what I'm doing right now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is the one that's gotten bigger than I was expecting. So that's what we need to split again, essentially.
Yeah.
Then there's these two issues as well that can be done separately, but they're both blocked by this.
Okay.
So a new filter bar that uses filters for the first class vulnerabilities, because they're slightly different filters. So much like the list is slightly different, we can reuse the filter component, but we need a new bar that says, here's the 4 filters or whatever it is that we want to use.
Okay.
And then hook that into all the GraphQL filtering stuff that we're going to be building here. And then a similar thing for the counts, which is the
one that I will be working on as well, changing the design.
Yes. Oh, you're working on changing the design of the counts.
Yeah, and then also it's like flipping with this filters, because right now the place where the filters are doesn't really make sense. There are the counters in between, like between the filters and the list. There are the counters. Doesn't make sense. The counters will be on top, but it's a one-line change. Like at least in the dashboard in the app file, it should be one line.
Well, I mean, if especially as well, if we move into this template, spelled header wrong, but what were the other things we were talking about? Oh, the counts. So yeah, it's like that currently. That change would just be that,
exactly.
and then we're done.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there is also like the count component itself. It needs to be changed, but at least it shouldn't create any problem with this merge request. That one. That one. Yeah, this one needs to change.
This one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It needs to accept an icon. No, actually, it needs to have an icon in the header, and then it needs to have the colors. But it's a very simple one. It's an onboarding issue almost.
But yeah, I was just checking. There's no Vuex tied into this component either, which is nice. There's a few components that have a lot of Vuex in that.
Exactly.
We should start migrating out. But yeah, that sounds fairly straightforward. Oh, quick thing on that as well. You probably noticed there's a lot of CSS in JS.
Yeah.
I added that. I wasn't supposed to. So if you can do it without changing this, but maybe removing it, that would be amazing.
Okay. Using the classes that we already have, maybe, or introducing new classes, something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Not here, but using the CSS utils, or okay.
So there's a separate issue as well for 12.10 for removing all of these classes, or removing all of the CSS and JS stuff. So I'll send you a link to that as well. Just mention in there that you'll take care of this component or whatever.
Yeah. And then there is also there is also the export button that I'm working on. But that as well. It should be one-liner in the app view. It should be one-liner because I created a separate component, so it shouldn't create any problem either.
Okay.
There are these two issues that are but
cool.
Shouldn't be a problem with the merge request.
Where did we land on that? Are we getting the CSV from the back end?
Yes.
Oh, good.
And now it's so previously it was like generating right on time. Now it's a background job. So it's first you initiate when you click, you initiate the export, and then you wait a bit, and then the backend prepares it, and then it returns you a link to poll, and then once it's ready, you download it.
That's cool.
It is. So it's already in the MR. Daniel has reviewed it. It was an extensive one. I was fixing I was just adjusting the changes, and then it should be good, I guess, that one. So probably Monday, Tuesday, something like that, hopefully.
That's a very quick turnaround.
Let's hope. I mean, we'll see.
No. I mean, for even just getting the work in, to be honest. Yeah, well done.
There is also I assigned you one merge request.
A review?
Yeah, one review.
Yeah.
It's just a couple of lines.
Okay, I'll look at that as a priority this morning then. Yeah, apologies for this week. There's a lot going on right now.
You have a valid reason.
So yeah, no, I'll take a look at that. Just so I'm clear, I'm going to make a quick list of what I need to do, and I will say it out loud in case I miss anything. So split out the dashboard template component. That's called first class dashboard at the moment, but we'll need to rename that because that's not really what it is. I will push up this particular branch so that you can have a look. I'll just put push branch, that's fine, I'll know what that means. Is that it? That seems like too little.
I think that's it. And then once we have an MR for that, maybe I can start working on the Vuex part or GraphQL, however you prefer. And then you work on one side, and then I work on the other side of the what's that diagram that you
the awesome diagram of optimism.
Work on the right side, and then you left side, or vice versa.
Yeah. Okay, cool. That sounds good. I'll do that now, and I'll keep in touch.
All right.
And if any questions, anything, I know where you are.
Same for me. Yeah.
Cool. Right. I'll catch you later, Savash.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. See you later.
Bye.